and thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jessica Kringle. Of course, most of you know me as Mrs. Claus, and we have been counting down the days of December by doing a different sweet and treat recipe from my family recipe box. And today we're going to do something for the 20th, so let's head to our advent calendar here and see what we get to make today. Ooh, Eggnog Cherry Creams. What a great mixture of flavors that will be, huh? All right, well, if you would like to download the entire recipe, you can go to www.crafterscountdown.com and you'll find a printable PDF of this. But for now, I need to wash my hands and get the ingredients out so that we can get started. All right, my hands are clean and I've gotten out our ingredients, and as is often the case, we start with our sugar. So we're going to be cooking this in a pan, not on bake. So I'm going to turn this to a medium heat, and to it we're going to add our eggnog. A lot of people wait for the holidays just because that's usually the time you can find eggnog in the stores. Our salt and our corn syrup. Going to give this a stir. And we also need to add our candy thermometer. Now we're going to cook this to a soft ball stage or 235 degrees. Remember that we need to place our candy thermometer in the liquid but not touching the bottom of the pan. And then because this has a milk product in it, the eggnog, we do need to stir this once in a while so that we make sure we don't scorch it. We have reached 235 degrees on our candy thermometer. So we'll give this one last stir. Take out the candy thermometer. And then just like the panuche that we made earlier, we need to set this aside and let it cool until it's lukewarm. And so I'm going to set it on this little trivet so that air circulates underneath it a little better. Now, while this is cooling, there is some preparation work that we can do. We have some of these little cherries from the St. Lucia's bread that we made, and we need to quarter, so cut in quarters. It says either or. I'm doing some of each just to make it super pretty, so it's red and green. And then we also have half a cup of walnuts that we need to go ahead and finely chop, and I'll use the chopper here. So let me get that done while this cools. I showed you once before I had saved a piece of butter wrapper to use to grease the frangos, well, not the pan, but the paper. That was interesting, so that the frangos didn't stick to the parchment or waxed paper. But I did keep aside another one for just using because you're supposed to place the finished eggnog cherry creams into a buttered pan. That helps with keeping waste away, and it's very practical, and it keeps my fingers clean too. Set that aside. We're going to add our butter into here, mix it very well until it becomes a dull color, so it's more like a fudge and not so shiny. And then we will stir in our cherries and our nuts also. So let's go ahead and put this in here. Another butter paper to rub on the pan if we need it. This takes some muscle, doesn't it? Woo. I think it's a little bit thick for the electric beaters, so it's got to be done by hand. Like my grandmother used to, right? Right, and now we will go ahead and fold in our quartered candied cherries. It says red or green, or both, a little of each. And then our nuts. These are walnuts. Chopped using our fun little whacker, as I call it. I'm going to fold these in to our mix. And then we need to quickly get it into our pan before it cools. Our buttered glass pan. Someone asked me on YouTube about the kind of pans that I use and where they might buy some, and I'm not really sure. They were a gift, but I will tell you they are heavy. And it says to use a heavy pan. I got the muscle going on here. This job would be too hard for a rubber spatula, so I went ahead and got out one of the metal ones to scrape the yummies out of the sides and bottom of our pan here. And we'll spread this around. And then we will set this aside to cool before we cut it into little sharable squares, as I like to call them. And I get to lift the spoon. Okay, our yummy eggnog cherry creams have cooled and are ready to be cut. So we're going to make these, as I said, in sharable squares. Out, and we can just break these into cut pieces. There we go. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I have had so much fun showing you my family's recipes as we count down the days of December, doing a different recipe each day. We've only got a few days left before Christmas, so I hope that you will give these a try. Let me know what you think. And I do hope that you'll join me back tomorrow when we do a different recipe in Cooking with Claus. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.